Maintenance and Repair Company. We'll provide you with the best service possible with a 1-hour response time for any trouble calls you may have. We also perform all Category 1 and 5 tests that are required in New York and clear any existing violations so your elevators are safe and up to code. Call 212-279-0700. 212-279-0700. When the cameras aren't rolling and the spotlight is off, what are your favorite celebs really like? This is Buck the System, the podcast that peeks behind the curtain, under the covers, and brings you along as host Buck Gritano exposes real reality. We started with the captains of the smash hit TV show Wicked Tuna. How cool is that? And every time we buck the system, we have an awesome time doing it. So now, let's have some fun. You ready? Buckle up and let's go.
And welcome everybody to Buck the System. I'm your host Buck Gritano. Brian Fox will join us in a couple of seconds anyway, but I'd like to welcome our special guest. Before, you know what I did? I messed up. I did it again. I forgot to plug the sponsor, which I always do. I forgot to plug the sponsor. Let me plug right now, right away. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, Patty. I have to go back and do this. Bungalow is now opened up in Rockaway Beach. Phase 2, Phase 3, outdoor dining at the Bungalow Bar if you want to go down and grab a drink or something nice to eat, or check out a beautiful sunset in Rockaway Beach, Queens. Bungalow Bar is the place to be. I love it. Brian loves it. We like stopping by, having a cold drink after a nice hard day. Now you can go out and enjoy the Bungalow Bar. So everybody out there, they're open. Only thing that's you have to is patience. Be patient. First come as you serve. I mean, what is it? First come, first serve. Be a little patient with the Bungalow Bar. There's a little limited seating, but you will be called in and you will enjoy the Bungalow Bar in Rockaway Beach. Thank you, Bungalow Bar. Apple Elevator, Big Apple Elevator. Oh man, Mooney, who I think is on vacation somewhere. But anyway, love him, supports the show. God bless him. We're here now with Buck the System, and this is kind of special. I went from Wicked Tuna, right? The captains of Wicked Tuna, who are their own kind of people, honestly. Being on the ocean, on the water, trying to make a living. Wicked Tuna. Now I'm bringing somebody on that I'm so intrigued with. I'm so happy that Brian introduced me to you. I'm totally honest with you. He said, I have this lady who is a witch. And I was like, a witch? Brian, what is he talking about? But I'm welcome to bring on not just a witch, a psychic, medium, author, actor. I mean, everything. You are like the Willie Mays of the paranormal industry. This is Patti Negri. I love it. You also have a great podcast that I just started tuning into, The Witching Hour. I Googled The Witching Hour, and it came up with an Anne Rice book. And I'm like, oh, I got to read the Anne Rice book now. So this is exciting. I'm all in. Buck the System with Patti Negri. How you doing, Patti?
I'm excellent, Buck. Thank you so much. I like that. I'm the Willie Mays. I love that.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, what is that? Jack of all trades, master of none. No, but I am. I do know what I'm doing. I'm old. I've been doing it a long, long time.
Now, I've watched all this YouTube stuff. I went to your channel. I see the following you have in what you do. I mean, I don't know what you do. I don't know if to ask you first. Should I ask you about the psychic medium part, or ask you about the witch? The good witch, I should say. Good witch. So you wouldn't have gotten hit, or what was it? A house wouldn't have landed on you. Right?
No, I'm Glenda. I'm in the bubble. I got the big pink dress. Believe me, and I've got Glendas all over this house. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Yes. No, I was born this way, honestly. I was born typical suburban California. But I was able to see the psychic part. I was able to see spirits since I was a little kid. I thought everybody could. I actually do think kids are really, really psychic. It just gets taught out of us in our non-mystical Western society. But I just knew that the guy in the closet was real, the guy under the bed. They gave me real information that I could get to my parents, and it was legit. I literally, on the medium side, I was always just had this obsession, but not in a morbid or dark way, with dead people. And I literally did my first seance when I was 7 or 8. Went in my little hallway in my little suburban house with no windows, stuffed towels under the door so there would be no light. Realized I didn't know dead people. So I'm like, Marilyn Monroe and John Kennedy, any dead celebrity a 7 or 8 year old knows. And the room filled with lights and orbs flying around. in this lightless room. So, after running out screaming, I'm like, wow, this is real. So I've set my life studying it. So there's a medium part, and the witchy part. At the very same time, since I was a little kid, I would find myself in my backyard at my, again, little home going, if I pick this rosemary and I put some of the rosemary leaves in my mom's purse, she'll have more money. I just knew it. And
that is so funny that you said that, because I watched the YouTube. I'm getting ready to interview you now. I'm saying to myself, I really don't know where to start interviewing a psychic, a medium. I didn't know where to begin. So the first video I popped on, which is kind of crazy, was you talk about rosemary in your wallet or purse. And you know what I did? Believe or not believe, I threw a bunch of rosemary in my wallet. I could probably take it out.
Good.
Actually, it's the dried kind. I don't know if that's the same, but
it's fine. It works. The dried kind. I have a whole apothecary of dried herbs and oils and things. I mean, I didn't when I was 8 years old, but now I do. The dried kind is kind. The other kind gets kind of messy in your pocket. Rosemary oil leaks out. No, you will find that it works. You got to believe it's got to work. It's going to work.
I took it out of because I make shepherd's pie, so I had a little in the side, so I dumped it in there, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to dump some extra in my wallet, so I dumped it in. Now, I don't know if I'm a believer or not. I really don't know. Brian, who's the producer on the show, he'll be coming in, and he's the one that set up the show, so he should be in here soon after he shares everything up so he can help me out. Now, psychic at that age, you're 6, 7 years old, like, is it understandable your parents knew, had an idea, thought you were strange?
Yeah, I think... No, my dad, he was a great dad, but he was kind of involved. He was worked all the time. He was at work. But my mom was like, oh, yeah, Grandma did that too. Oh, yeah, Grandma's mom always came to the end of the bed, and she would always tell her things. So it was just kind of normal. I wasn't raised in a religious family at all. Or my grandfather actually was this big atheist leader, psychoanalyst in Los Angeles, celebrity following. So I thought almost that God or religion was a dirty word because we didn't talk about that. But I would drive by a church or a temple or a synagogue, and I'd see the energy there, and I want to go in. I want to go in to all of them. I want to go in. I feel that there's some magic there. But it wasn't until I was 13 I was brave enough to ask if I could go to a church with a friend, a regular Christian church, because some cute rock band was playing. And my mom's like, you could do whatever you want. It's like, oh, I get to do whatever I want. So I became a seeker, like my grandfather, though he studied every religion and studied philosophy and was very academic in his work. I study all the religion. I'm not academic. I'm very more spiritual based, but I look, there's so much similarities in our thought pattern. He uses academic words and scientific words. I might use spiritual words, but you see the through line in Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, paganism, the Wicca thing. If you take it down to energy, it's just whatever template you're using on top. So I was lucky that I wasn't like, oh my gosh, she sees funny beings, that's the devil. There was no devil in our world. Never was.
No, that's one thing I don't want to invite in anything evil, but I watch you and I see you talk about how you bring in positive and people, and I got to get Brian in here to help me out with this, but I've never seen, well, one time I thought I saw something, but I wasn't really sure. Like, I have no clue. Or maybe I was dreaming, or maybe something like that. I don't know. But the psychic ability part of it, is that something that is generational? It could skip generations? Or has anybody in your family had experiences like that, or you've heard of anything like that?
I think it is generational. I think it's kind of in our DNA. And my mom, on her kind of Irish Celtic stuff, has it. And I think my dad, in his kind of Middle Eastern Sephardic stuff, has it. And I think it just kind of mushed together with me. But I do think, they say scientifically we use very little of our brain. I think we have a whole psychic brain. I honestly think psychicness and spirituality is coming together. I mean, spirituality and science is coming together as we move into quantum sciences and things. So I've seen spirits always. It wasn't ever a question. I thought everybody did.
That was just the norm to you. I guess that's
it was
the norm to you.
completely.
But when you're not in that kind of norm, it's out of the box. And I told Brian before, I said, it's like I saw the rabbit with watching the clock, and he's like, I'm late. And I just followed him down this rabbit hole somewhere where I'm going in, not knowing anything about it. Like, I'm researching psychics or mediums. I'm sure there's a lot out there that are not 100% that take advantage of the industry. We look you up, and you're one of America's top there's actually an organization. I didn't even know this. Brian was telling me before. There's an organization that helps out with the police and helping find, investigating, and that kind of stuff. You're involved in that also, right? Can you explain what that is?
Yeah. American Federation of Certified Psychics and Mediums. About, I don't know how many years ago, I got a phone call. Yes, it's a nonprofit. And you're right. For everyone good and legitimate, whatever you want to call yourself, psychic, medium, intuitive, healer, there is 1,000 scam artists, fake. Some have gifts, some don't have gifts. What they want, though, is your money, not to help you. And they upsell you. And, oh, you've got a demon attached. We better come at 12 more times. I need hundreds of dollars. We're taking it to the church. We're going to light you a candle. You have to pay for that box. Okay.
It's like a mechanics. It's like mechanics, right? It's like, you go to a mechanic. Yeah, I got you.
Car salesman psychic.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got this call years ago, and somebody said, I wasn't on Ghost Adventures yet. I had a nice following, but nobody that anybody had heard of really. And they go, we're interviewing the 10 best psychics in the country. I'm great. Why are you calling me? I'm not John Edwards. I'm not. And they go, no, not the most famous, not the most rich, the ones that are the best by reputation and by what. I go, okay. So we did this little interview, and I was like all excited. And the guy who did it, he was a publisher, he's a linguist, he's a scientist, he speaks 21 languages, most of them ancient, like Sumerian. So he's a big alien guy, ET guy.
I like that stuff too, but I don't like to bring it up, but I love that kind of stuff. But okay.
Yeah, so anyway, so he goes, and he's a lawyer, and he goes, and he kind of fell in love with these 10 different people. He goes, if anybody needs a professional organization, it's you. Doctors have them. Lawyers have them, plumbers have them, teachers have them. He goes, you need some legitimacy and testing behind you. And then stupidly, I do a lot of nonprofit work. I'll help. And thus we were born. And we go through rigorous testing for people. If they claim to be a psychic, you're going to be a psychic if they want to be. And then there's different areas. If somebody says they're a crystal healer, we really test them on their knowledge of crystals. If they want to say they're an astrologist, we test them on their knowledge of astrology. And then also they do background checks that you've never been arrested for being a scam artist. You've never gotten in trouble. We go to your Yelp reviews. Everybody go to reviews. So many people, they don't know. And all of a sudden, it's like if you just would have went online and looked up that person, you'd have seen 912 people going, scam artist, fake, got all this money out of me.
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought about that. Yelp, a medium. I never thought about that. That's true.
Yes, everything is on Yelp or the internet or Google or anything else now, but do your research. If you're going to give besides giving them money, whether it's $25 or $25,000, I know somebody who went to a psychic, whatever you charge, $25, $2,500. They had already gotten $2,500 out of this couple because they said they had a curse. They didn't have a curse, and then they got $25,000 out of this couple.
Sounds like Scientology.
It's crazy. And I'm like, no curse, $3, gone.
Wow. Now I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you, but go back to how do they test? How do you test? Now, if I'm sitting here testing you, you're in an interview right now. How would I prove that you're not the real deal by testing somebody? How do you go about testing a psychic?
Okay. Well, again, if it's a regular psychic test, we would say, give me a reading. Buck, give me a reading. How do you read people? Because we want to see their professionalism, their integrity, their style of doing it, that they know the basic, almost spiritual laws or rules, that they're not going to say anything that... Because people come to you when they're vulnerable. People don't come to you when they're happy. They're going through a breakup or health issues or family issues. They are putting your life in your hands. And, like a psychologist is trained. I believe psychics are trained. I've studied my entire life. But a lot haven't. So we just test all of that. And then we say, give me a reading. And I set up, like if I'm testing somebody, I will set up 4 other people. Read me, but I'm easy to read. You can look me up if you know who I am. Then, okay, here's Fred Jones. Read Fred Jones. And I'm on the line with them. Okay, now here's Betty White. Now I'm going to read Betty White. So I test them.
That is so funny. You brought up Betty White. That's funny that you mentioned Betty White because my mom used to clean Betty White's room in a hotel. My mom was a maid, yes. And I got a picture of her. Oh, Betty White and the other guy, Alfred, what was it, from Batman, the 93 movie. He was out the butler, and my mom, Betty White, yes, she was staying in New York for a long time. So that's kind of calm. I'll give you that. That's a little bit spooky right there. But, now, could a reading be possible for somebody sitting? I'm in New York City and you're sitting in California. Could it be done over the internet?
I do it every day. I haven't had a live person since COVID hit. Today I talked to someone in New Zealand. I talked to someone in Northern Canada, Eastern Canada. I talked to somebody. Yeah, it's what I do. And it doesn't even have video is great because this is so easy. But a phone or just whatever. I don't like typing. People want to text reading. That is not direct. I can't stand typing. It's like, oh, let me be in the moment. Wait, typo. So at least talk. But yeah, time and space has no anything.
The thing I wanted to ask you, entities or any ghosts, or I don't know what the proper word, I'm sure Brian can step on me and tell me what that is or what isn't. What do you see and what do you feel when you have an experience?
Okay, there's the different kind of clairs to give it clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, and that just means somebody is better at seeing the spirits. Some people are better at hearing the spirits. Some people are better at smelling the spirits. Grandpa's perfume. Some people are better. There's an inner seeing, there's an outer seeing,
Wow.
and I kind of throw them all in a pot. Sometimes, like, okay, let's just say I play an old ghost. We're doing an investigation. Sometimes I literally see, okay, over here there's a shadow person, and I'm seeing, oh, it's a burly guy, and they're wearing a fedora, and they've got kind of short legs. And you're seeing literally in front of you. Sometimes you're seeing it in your head. Okay, I'm seeing in my head a burly guy and they've got a fedora. I try not to differentiate. I don't want to put my left brain into it. Which side am I using right now? I don't care. It just doesn't matter because I'm a very right brain, left brain girl. Your left brain is your reasoning, rational, 1 + 1 = 2 logical brain. We get that. That's what gets us through life every day. That's what set us up on this call. Yeah. Your right brain, that's where you're going to see spirits. That's your intuitive side, your artist side, your creative side. That's where the magic happens. But if you're having this magical moment or thought, or I think Grandpa's behind me, you can't logicalize it or you shut it down. You just have to say, yes, I think Grandpa's behind me. If you want to analyze it, wait 2 hours. And in 2 hours going, was that Grandpa or was that indigestion? Then you figure it out. But that's how I work with people to develop theirs. You just have to, when they say be childlike, that's why kids are so gifted. On the other side of the veil is where anything can happen,
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask you about that. I notice a lot of stories about children that see a lot of spirits and just, things in their room and stuff like that. I guess that's where the boogeyman derives from. So many children, see what they see, and my daughter used to have stuff like that also. And, at first when you hear it, like you were saying, they kind of brush it off. You're like, all right, maybe she's just dreaming or whatever it is. But then as you start to really look into it and you hear all this, the possibilities,
because kids do. I really do believe kids really see it. They see spirits and even dreams. Think back, at least for me, dream life as a child was so amazing and real and prolific. And the good ones and the bad ones and the recurring ones that change as adulthood. It's because they live in that place of wonder. Going to a witchy thing, like if you're doing a ritual, or I'm doing a seance or a mediumship gallery, I literally will lay down my broom, my witch's broom. On this side of the broom is the logical world. Gravity counts. There's not a ghost sitting on my head, whatever that is. You cross over to this other world beyond the veil, and that's where you just have to have that faith that anything can happen, and you have to kind of shut down that logical side for a minute.
See, when I look at seeing any kind of entities or anything like that, I picture seeing that black and white thing. I guess that. Yeah, exactly. But the thing you said about smell was kind of interesting because my mother passed away 4 years ago, right? And that's one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to have you on, just to touch on more of my mother, because I lost her, and I always wanted, I have my beliefs that I grew up with. I believe that where she is hopefully a good place, and I hope she's not lingering around on Earth. I don't know if that's even possible, if you can go both places, or that's something I would like to ask you, but the smell. And I remember her laying in the hospital in Manhattan, and she was in hospice care, and she wasn't eating and stuff like that, and it was terrible. But the smell that she gave off later, about maybe 4 or 5 days after she passed away, I smelled her a couple times. Which I thought was kind of weird. And I said to my son, my oldest son, I wouldn't tell the younger guy because I don't want to throw him off. But the smell, I smelled my mom, and it was like the weirdest thing. And when you said that you could smell entities, that got me a little bit thrown off right there.
That's a huge one, Buck. That's a huge one. So many people, because again, it's our senses. It's our 6 senses, which include the 5 regular ones: the seeing, the smelling, the tasting, and that's an easy one for them to communicate. And often you do get that when they're soon dead. I think there's a 40-day transition, but in that first week or so is when you're going to smell them, see them, the corner of your eye. You're not going to see them directly. You're going to see them in your peripheral vision. So I smell every time I go, my brother still lives in the house I grew up with. My mom died about 4 years ago too. I smell her all the time. And it's not a gross thing about it. He's like, that smells like mom.
Yeah, it's something about smell. I mean, even memory-wise, you can look back and smell something that maybe somebody's cooking, and the senses are very, it brings you back to a memory. It's like almost like a photo book and stuff like that. So what do you actually see, or what is, how can I say it? What does it look like?
What form does it take? I guess he's trying to say.
Spirits?
Yeah.
Again, it's always different. Some are very clear, like we are looking at each other, and again, especially if it's the inner sight, they have a clear complexion and they have blue eyes. Sometimes it's cloudy and it's just this burly guy with a hat on.
Okay.
It's always different. That's why because again, we're crossing. It's a different world. It's like a different dimension. So it's like watching different channels of TV or something.
Really? Can you explain what the other dimension is and what that is? I know what you kind of see now, but what is the other dimension? I know that we are 3-dimensional type. We see in 3 dimensions, and that's got my ancient alien type thing. I know the dimensions and stuff like that. All is one. The 4th dimension, you want enlightenment, hopefully. That you can go back and whatever, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, I guess whatever dimension you go up to.
Okay.
What is the other dimension? How is it made up?
Well, there's actually very many of them, I believe, and there's a lot of different philosophies on it. I don't dwell too much because, again, I like it more visceral than academic. We're in the 6th dimension now. But our world is our world, our 3-dimensional, whatever this is. The other side, like say we're sitting down to a seance. All of us are sitting at your table to do a seance. I explain to people what can come in. There's ghosts, of course. Ghosts, it's where everything else lives. Ghosts are things that were people. They were living people. They're dead. Usually they've crossed over. And yes, grandma or mom can hang out at the house and still be in heaven or her other place wherever she's going. They hang out because they like to. They're not stuck. Rarely is it like when you see on the TV shows, the spirit is stuck here. Yes, some spirits are stuck in the insane asylum, but the grandma that comes to visit, they're just there to see the kids. They're not stuck. So again, what you're going to see is ghosts or spirits, and usually they're crossed over and fine. The ones that aren't crossed over, those are more the edgy one. They're the ones who maybe died really fast and they don't know they're dead, and that's the ones, whatever, that's when you get that little edge. And those are the ones you really can cross over. Go to the light. It's not even hard. I've done it so many times with a group of people who've never, and you see it, you experience, you will help. It's very Star Trek. Go to the light, and everybody at the same time knows when they go. So that's the one. There's ghosts, spirits, things that were human. The other thing that in the other realm that lives, which is different, that's a residual haunting. And you would know that, Brian, from watching the TV shows. That's something that's not real time. That's like the bed and breakfast, the lady in white who walks by every hour. That poor ghost doesn't have to walk by. It's literally like a video recording. They're not going to interact with you, where regular spirits will interact one-on-one. A residual haunting won't. You're just voyeuristically watching them. It's almost like just a tear in the fabric of the universe, of the world. That's residual. That's different. The other thing you're going to get is the everything else. That's the things that were never human. That's getting into the elemental, animal spirits, mineral spirits, fairies, angels, demons, extraterrestrials. That's the everything else.
Wow, I didn't know that. So I look at that kind of dimension or different things. I had no clue that there was that kind of. I had no clue. I mean, this is all new to me. I'm like, okay, there's different dimensions. I thought a ghost was a ghost, like you said, Casper, the friendly ghost, and I didn't know that he can come back again, and one that was kind of like a broken record. That's something I never even thought of. because I don't even watch the shows. I don't know if I'm afraid of watching these programs. I just don't get the entertainment value as, say, Brian would out of watching that. I like more of pretending or going back into some time, like an Egyptian time, or is Atlantis real? That kind of stuff. That's the stuff that I really intrigued by. But this stuff kind of, I guess, when it kind of scares you a little bit, and you're afraid to admit that it scares you, I guess we'll kind of put it down. Oh, she's a witch. I cannot mess with this lady, you know. But I guess we don't understand it. We don't understand something. We're ignorant upon it. So I guess I didn't want to come in like and be so ignorant and go, oh, yeah, this lady's crazy. She sees ghosts and stuff like that. Because she proved that she sees ghosts. So Brian's like, okay.
You know, so many senses, if somebody's really a skeptic, I love skeptics, by the way. They fall the hardest. But I love skeptics, and I don't try to convince anybody, because you're right. I don't try, belief system, religion-wise, your truth is your truth, and that's what it should be. But somebody who's truly a skeptic, you could have Moses' burning bush in front of you, the extraterrestrial landing on your head, seas parting and walk on water, and they're not going to believe it. They're going to explain it out. That's fine. But what I like about the modern equipment that some of the Ghost Adventures use is, I'm old school. I'm sitting here with dowsing rods or a Ouija board or just my intuition going, there's a guy going like this on your head. Just like this on your head, like this. And all of a sudden in the other room, somebody's got some fancy new SLS camera, and literally there's a stick picture of a ghost going like this on their head. We're not aware of each other. That's what all this new equipment, this electronic stuff, because ghosts love electricity, because it's a conduit for them. That's why cameras die. All the ghost shows know it. The non-paranormal shows that do a paranormal episode, like, what happened to our cameras? Our batteries died.
And what happens? What happens? They suck the energy out of that, and I wonder how they could pull that one off, man.
They use it for energy. It's energy. When I remember, like, the first time I think they flew me to Vegas to do a seance with a haunted doll, Peggy the doll, my phone blew up, my tablet blew up, and I'm in a nice fancy hotel, not an old, the TV's going on and off. I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. But it's a conduit. That's why all the new ghost stuff works really well. I did my first seance last week, virtual, my first virtual. I mean, I've been doing seances my whole life since I was 7, and it was just like this. It was a Zoom setup, and I had, 60 people they were in Australia and Brazil and Europe. It was clear as a bell, because almost like through these electric wires, I was taking numbers and naming names. Wow. And I was so scared that I was going to get nothing. I was going to sit there and get crickets. I don't know, I got nothing. But it was just as clear, or even clearer, than some live.
It's amazing how you look at anything that has to do with, like, say, TV or television or movies or books that talk about different things that are not related to, say, paranormal or anything like that, but the history of it is derived, and they take it into these movies, and now you talk about stuff, it's like, wow, where did they get this stuff from? To our fairies, you talk about all this stuff, troll dragons, aliens, and all this stuff they come up with seems to be a part of a religion or something, or a belief system that no one, but they throw it back to the public, like almost like we're dumb and we watching. Like, you talked about elementals, and I know in Marvel movies they're coming out with movies with the elementals, and I'm like, wow, where did they get this stuff from? This information from?
From nature, from the elementals. It's real. Everything is energy. Everything is a spirit. I don't want to go. Okay, we have a spirit. We create spirits of love, spirits of fear, spirit. It's going to be hard. Spirit of Jesus, spirit of whatever you want to do. The spirit of all the stuff. We create spirits all the time. So in this, whether you look at it as a mythos, a mythology or not, dragons really exist. Fairies really exist. Angels really exist. You look at the attributes instead. It doesn't even matter if they do. I think they do. But angels are divine creatures. They do two things. They're dextral. They don't have a sinistral side. So they could do two: enlightenment and protection. Two really good things. And that's what angels do. Enlightenment and protection. That's great. Fairies, they're a different dimension. They bring levity and laughter and music and sparkle. They live at the edge of day, edge of night. Dragons, whether you believe they're a real fire-breathing animal, dragons are crossroad beasts. They've been around in every culture. They've been around in every culture, Asian dragon, Chinese dragon, medieval dragon. They're crossroads beasts. So crossroads energy. They can fly between heaven and earth. They cause change. They have that sensual side. They get a bad rap sometime only because they're powerful. Powerful things do. Anything most people say is bad luck actually isn't bad luck. It's just powerful. Walking under a ladder, crossing a flag, breaking a mirror. It's not bad luck. It's powerful.
I think
How
you use it. Yeah, it's only bad luck if you actually believe it, I guess. You really believe something like that. I mean, I kind of do. If I think anybody, if they see a ladder standing up, they're not going to go underneath it. Even if you don't really believe in it, I still wouldn't. I got to respect that there's something behind that thing. But you talk about dragons, and I just got finished because I stayed home, and everybody else, stuck in quarantine, and I'm watching, I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do it because I was like, I'm not watching Game of Thrones. I'm not going to watch it. I watched the first episode. Next thing you know, I'm on season 6, and I'm like, and the dragons. But you're right, powerful. The dragons was so powerful, and she had it. I don't want to spoil anybody who didn't see it, but the dragons represented power. I just thought it was kind of like an old dinosaur that they found that maybe they dug up somewhere, and they were like, oh, we found this looks like a dragon, right? We'll put wings on it. They could fly and stuff like that. Oh man. But it's a spirit. It's a spirit. That's what. It's an
energy. In my book, I tell people everybody needs to get a dragon. When I'm clearing houses, I put a dragon in the basement. I have people get a little toy dragon. Go to a toy store, get a rubber dragon. You're really creating a fetish. It's called a golem in Hebrew, egregore. So you're creating a living object out of an inanimate being. I have them give your dragon a name, breathe life into them, give them a job. You're my personal assistant, and they work. They work. I'm lonely today. Have a friend call me so we can go to lunch. I need money. Have a new job offer. I've had dragons. Literally, one stop an abusive relationship. One stopped. Okay, this is pretty funny. 2 years ago, LA Dodgers. You guys are guys. LA Dodgers.
Okay, whatever.
I know. Okay, I know. Just LA Dodgers. I'm in LA. Anyway, they were winning. They won like 20 games in a row. And then Sports Illustrated did this thing on them. It said, Dodgers, best team ever, cover page. And they tanked. They lost like 20 games in a row. And everybody went, oh no, it's the Sports Illustrated curse. Because whenever Sports Illustrated does that, the athlete or the team just tanks. And it's the Sports Illustrated curse. So I was brought in, not by woo-woo people or witchy people or psych. I was brought in by Fred Rogan, Bernie Pete, Rodney Pete, the Vic the Brick, sports dudes, sports radio dudes in LA, big dudes in LA. And we broke the curse. They have a blue Dodger dragon, and they won, got to the playoffs. We, besides making LA news, we made ESPN National.
That's awesome. I've seen that in sports, but I've seen that in sports with anything else they could bring over. If it was a troll, if it was this, if a guy wore his hat a certain way, or I guess, is it the energy or the belief of everybody that believes in that helps that item work, or?
I think it's I'm a big believer of that mind, body, spirit. Again, that's what I talk about in my book. We understand mind. That's psychology. We'll never surpass our own belief system. It's going to be hard. Yeah, now it is. I can do it. Now you can. I can never do that. We understand the mind. We understand the body. Taking action. I'm going to eat healthy. I won't go to fast food every day. Mind, body. But the spirit, that's the part people don't quite get because it's not tangible. It's like, what does that mean? But that's the battery that makes anything happen. And in reality, you could do lots of things. You can go to church and pray. There's your spirit. You can go to synagogue, temple. You could be real new age. You could do vision boards or affirmations. You could do a spell working like I would do. You could do but you could use elements. You could use those. Rosemary, that's the spirit behind it. Your wallet. Because if you have 1 out of 3, mind, body, spirit, 1 out of 3 is wishful thinking. I wish I was rich and famous. 2 out of 3 is hit or miss. 3 out of 3 is always a home run. Unless we're going outside a lot of physics, I want to be 7 feet tall, I want to fly without a plane, you're probably not going to get that. But if you have your belief system, you take action in the spirit, it always works.
And there's something on Netflix that has something along that line of a spirit, of a secret, that there's supposed to be this hidden secret behind people's success. And it was almost about just pretty much wishing for something that you wanted. And I watched the movie. It's a documentary, whatever it was. I watched it, and I started writing down things on paper. And getting up every morning and saying, I mean, trying to. I can't say it every morning. I'll be lying to anybody out there. But, you say to yourself, I want this, I want to try this, I want to try this, I want this, I want this. And a couple of them, you start seeing them happen, which is kind of funny. I'm trying to let out this energy, or not, I don't know if it's energy, or reach some kind of just the way I look at it, as a oneness, that if I can get it back in return, hopefully it'll work out. So I was trying to do that every single day. And then you stop doing it, and you start thinking all the bad stuff and the bad energy. And it's right. You're 100% right. Where you start thinking bad stuff is going to happen. And it comes back.
Right.
Like you said, threefold, right? The threefold thing.
And do you know everybody knows that glass half empty, glass half full, where you put your focus. Do you know the native? Most people do. But do you know the Native American version, the wolf version?
No, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. It's not mine. It's Native American, and probably half the people out there know it, but I don't care. Hear it again. Okay, everybody. There's 2 wolves outside your door. Everybody has 2 wolves, but we only have room for 1 wolf. There's 2 wolves right outside. 1 wolf has every good attribute in your life. Beautiful family, you have a home, you have a job, career, you're creative, whatever all your good attributes are. The other wolf has every bad attribute. I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, whatever. I gotta lose weight. That wolf is outside. Both wolves are outside your door. You only have room for 1. Which wolf lives?
What do you think, Brian?
That's a tough one.
I'll pick the wrong one, so just pick one. Pick one wolf.
I'm gonna pick the second.
You gotta go a little closer to the mic so you mix it up, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
The second one. Hang on. I took a patty.
I gotta be skeptical here, right? And I gotta take the second one.
I felt like I was hanging out with the statue of Brian. He's the stuff. Jump in, help me out.
I'm here.
I will tell you.
I'm always wrong.
The wolf that lives is the wolf you feed.
You're right.
The wolf you feed. That's what the writing down for the secret or affirmations is. The one you feed gets strong. You give it life. You take action with it.
Yes.
The wolf you don't feed just starts dissipating into nothing. I just like that analogy because we always feed the bad wolf. I don't have enough time. I don't have money. I wish I had a better car. We just humans have this thing about us to go to the bad wolf.
Right.
But if we feed the good wolf, that's the one that lives. That's what the secret is. That's what positive thinking is. In simplistic, feed the good wolf. Catch yourself during the day going, I'm feeding the bad wolf. Feed the good wolf.
I got a buddy of mine right now who's on Wicked Tuna. He's on both shows. He's been there since day 1. He wants to ask you a question. He wants to know who's going to win season 10 of Wicked Tuna. Because they didn't go out yet. They're just starting about now to go out there and fish for these big bluefin tuna fish. Paul Habert, he wants to know who's going to win Wicked Tuna season 10. I don't know if you could answer that question, could you?
Probably not the tuna.
There you go, Paul. The tuna would not win. Because you will not.
I don't know. I don't even know. I know of the show, but I'm sad to say I've never seen it because I'm watching all those ghost shows. No, I watch the aliens. I watch the adventure shows. I'm in love with.
I hate to say it to you, but I've watched every ancient alien show there is about 10 times over again. Then I catch myself. Let's go back to season 10. Like I don't want to.
Okay, season 10. Okay, dowsing rods. You know what these are? Dowsing rods. They've been around forever. Divining
Can you control that? Can you control where it goes? Because I know that you can't control that, right?
I am not moving it. No, cross. Don't cross. Cross. Don't cross. I don't. I will not move a muscle in my body. But on ghost hunts, now I'm controlling them. They will take portals. They have spirits. And for divination, for quest, they cross on yes and they don't cross on no. I tested them for a whole year on sports teams because my husband's. Oops. Phone's ringing. My husband's.
Maybe it's an appointment or something like that.
Maybe it's no. Somebody else will answer. No.
Could be Marilyn Manson, right? It could be Marilyn Manson calling, right? Maybe possibly.
It could be. Catch somebody else on fire at his house.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, let's check it out. That's funny.
Okay. All right. So anyway, sorry about the phone ringing and nobody answering. I tested him for sports teams against my husband. It would be like, okay, the Red Sox versus and he'd say, no, this team's the best. I'm like, nope, this team will win. The one thing that I will say though is that we have free will, and just like nothing is written in stone, unless you are God or whatever. We can never say anything can happen because I could say, you know, a bird's gonna poop on your head when you walk out of the house. And you don't walk out of the house, the bird doesn't poop on your head, even though I knew exactly what it was going to fly over. So with Wicked Tuna, this is how it's laid in the cards, the probability of what's going to happen, but anything could change. If they haven't, somebody could quit the season, somebody could not go on, they could get in a fight. So I don't know who's in it. So you would have to ask, give us names.
Can I do a yes or no question? Let's do a Wicked Pisser. Will they win season 10?
Yes.
Ah, there you go, Paul. You better get yourself catching them big fish, Paul, and hopefully you know who wins season 10. We know who wins season 9 of The Outer Banks because it was filmed last year, so you can't go with that.
That's magic.
That's awesome.
So again, I would say that's a really good probability of what it is. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but that's, unless something happens to change the probable fate, the path that is going.
Now, you brought up a book. Can you give us the name of the book? Because Brian is the book guy.
My book, yes. I want to send you guys a book. Old World Magic for the Modern World. That's my book. It's super simple. I literally spent more time unwriting it than writing it on purpose because I know we have no attention span. It's simple, easy, read it fast. It's got magic, love spells, all sorts of things that are good magic, nothing negative. And mostly about empowering ourselves because we give away our power. That's how my whole thing is like, we give away our power to other people, to belief systems that are limiting, to fear, to I can't do it, to what people think. So, you can get it on Amazon in audiobook or ebook or print book. It's $6 to $12. It's easy.
You got me right there. What I usually do with audiobooks is the awesome thing. I mean, I hate to do it, say it out there. Maybe I get the threefold back, but I get the book, I download it, right? Then I return it.
You can do that with mine.
I'm only joking. Get out of here. I'm only joking.
Did you return an audiobook?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely return it. I get it and I return it. Whatever. That's just me, personally. Fairies, I want to understand what a fairy is. I know you said fairies from a different dimension, and they make you laugh, they make you joke. Ooh, are they like the little things that we see in the movies and stuff like that? Is that what a fairy flies around like Peter Pan?
I think that they actually can appear as such. Fairies live at the edge of day, the edge of night, the edge of the garden, the edge of the path, the edge of the forest. In my experience, again, whether we believe they're just a spirit or they could take the form of a little flying magical things. Hummingbirds go into the fairy family, dragonflies go into the fairy family, but like Halloween, the veil between the worlds is thinnest on Halloween. That's why people dress up. It's about celebrating the dead. And on May Day, May 1st, which is Beltane, the pagan holiday, let's dance around Maypole and bring flowers. The fairies are holding up the veil that day. Like 2 years ago, on May Day, my husband and I went into my backyard, and we had this little cup that held like 6 little sauces in it. And we wanted to talk to the fairies. We wanted to give them gifts. They love to be bribed. They like alcohol. They like honey. They like cream. They like shiny things. They like garden balls and marbles and crystals and sparkles. So anyway, we had these 6 little cups, and we made wishes, everything from peace on earth to, a new car for ourselves. So with each one, we put a little bit of honey and a little bit of cream. So it looked like a cappuccino, a dark honey and a light cream, and we mixed each of the 6 little cups. And we made a wish for the fairies, and we left it for the offering for the fairies. We went up. I have a really big backyard. We went upstairs. Nobody went down there. My husband didn't. I went down the next morning. Instead of 6 cappuccinos, 3 just had honey, 3 just had cream. That's what fairies do. It's great. I mean, no logical explanation, no scientific explanation. Nobody knew we did it. It's just like, I'm taking all these. I got pictures. Again, a skeptic's going to say somebody went down there. Nobody knew we did it. That's what fairies do. They steal things, though. Fairy energy. If you get, they're like little kids. You have to control them a little bit.
I must have a lot of fairies in my house, Patty, because I'm missing my keys, my wallet all the time.
Keys, jewelry, shiny things. But if you bribe them, then they'll give them back. You'll find it in a weird place. Like, I didn't leave my keys there, or I did leave them there, but I looked there and now they're back.
Oh, I got a question from Facebook, and I coach basketball, youth basketball team. We're 6th grade going to 7th grade. Well, this was one of the Jill Falcone, Jill Polisi, I should say. I'm sorry, Jill. She runs our organization. She wants to know, will I take the team to the Diocese Championship this year? That's what she wanted me to ask you. That'd be great.
Okay. Let's see. At the probability of, again, as it's going right now, is there a good probability of you will take the team to whatever you called that championship this year? Eh, eh, eh. Oh, you're gonna have to work really hard. Really hard. Eh.
Uh,
Looks like it crossed, but dang, it worked hard.
I know.
Did you see that?
But I work hard, so that's fine. And I know that kids work hard, so I have no problem either. So
So
that's
it
a good
crossed. It
sign.
was like yes, no, yes,
Yeah, because
no.
last
Okay.
year, I'll explain it. I'll explain it to you. Last year, we finished towards the top. We actually got whipped the year before. It was kind of bad. We got really whipped. We were in the wrong space for our kids. We should have been lower level. We went down and we pretty much won all year until the end of the year. We lost a couple games. We got knocked out, but that's a good sign. I appreciate that. So, Jill, you see, I do have a shot to bring them. I'm trying to get a recontract on that deal. I can go back and ask for more money now. That's right. I don't get paid.
That's
money.
right. Mind, body, spirit. Believe you're going to win. Take some action to it. Do a little candle burning. You got it.
Yeah, right.
All right, now I have a question about Ouija boards. What do you feel about those? Do you feel as a portal or just a Milton Bradley unit?
Oh, no, it is a portal. I think they're great. I've been using them. I have the same one since I was an 8-year-old, 7-year-old kid. I don't think they should be sold in toy stores. I don't think I think they should have a completely different set of directions. Not, this is a game, this is a toy. I even have a Barbie one, a very pink Barbie one. It isn't a game, it isn't a toy, because it could be a portal to open up. And I think it's like a gun. Not that I'm a gun person, I'm not. You have to know how to use it. So you don't just go anybody out there, any ghost out there. You don't open the front door of where you live and say anybody come in, serial killers come in, crazy. You'd be very specific. Only grandma can come in, or people that we know are good and light spirits, and then that's exactly what you set up. But you have to set up wards and protections within your belief system. If if you want to bring in your angels, you bring in your angels. If you want to bring in whatever, work within your belief system. I'll put in dragons. I'll put in all sorts of magical things and angels and dragons. I am well protected. And then you have to make sure you shut it down. You open it up. You open the door. You're going to see who you visit. You're careful who you let in. Then you shut it down.
I want to touch upon like the Ghost Adventure stuff and how you got involved with them. Like,
Sure.
how did you end up getting involved with Zach Bagans?
It was kind of fluky, the first one I did was on. They called me. I mean, I'm in Hollywood and I've been in Hollywood, so I've done lots of TV and lots of paranormal TV and other shows. So I guess they knew who I was. But they called me for Haunted Hollywood because they had heard. They were at the American Legion and they had heard that because I had been doing a ghost tour there, and I said, "Ooh, Charlie Chaplin is right here." And they had found out that was the chair he sat in. So they just called me to be one of those witnesses like they have on every episode. So I went and, yeah, he was here. This is what. And I don't know what happened. And then I don't know if Black Dahlia came last. And then it just became whether I'm doing a seance or just going in to feel it out. And believe me, there is no cheating on that show. I know people don't know if it's real or not. It's real. I mean, yes, they're 120% committed, so sometimes it looks big and theatrical. That's because they do take on that childlike, anything can happen as a kid. They will, if they have to, they will keep me blindfolded, locked in the van in a car to not know. They'll give me an address they'll fly me to or drive me to, and I will not know any history. There's no, oh, by the way, 3 people were beheaded. Not at all. I'm always scared that I won't get nothing. I say, okay, Zach, you just go in, and Patty, you go in there and you just tell us what you feel.
Now,
Okay.
what was Charlie Chaplin doing at a bar? Why was he at a bar stool, or where?
That was
Oh,
the Melrose
it was
Hotel? Was that what that was? The Melrose?
It was American Legion Hall. It was a club for service people, and everybody belonged to it. And in Hollywood, they had a lot of money because they had a big boxing ring, and through the Depression and through the maybe even in Prohibition, you couldn't drink in regular places, but private clubs. It was a party house. Yes, they had all the stuff that goes with it. So all the stars, all the starlets went there. It was the Hollywood American Legion. Yes, the real service people went there, but he went there too. But sadly, in the war, in the scare, the big anti-communist thing, Charlie Chaplin was actually kicked out of the club.
Oh.
But he came back in death.
Yeah, he was like, you can kick me out now, but you can't
I'll be
stop
back.
me from coming back
Get me out there.
eventually.
Yeah.
Wow, so something in your life can affect you when you move on to the point where you stay around in certain areas. I would believe, right?
I believe some spirits can be stuck. I like the Black Dahlia house. That horrible serial killer doctor guy holds some women there. We crossed over one on the show. You will never see it because it's not the style of the show that we go to the light. But we did not the Black Dahlia herself, not Elizabeth Short, but another. But what was the question?
No.
Oh,
No, that the spirits, they do stick around in places.
oh yeah, they stick around. So people are stuck. So you go to the insane asylum or the bad place or the prison, and you're going to get some that are stuck, or some went there just because that's what they know. You know, people, if you're screwed up in life, you're kind of screwed up in death. You know, lesser evolved people. But in Hollywood, why I like Hollywood is because spirits hang here because they had fun here, like the American Legion, like the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. It's got good ghosts. The Hollywood Athletic Club, very similar to the American Legion, because besides being as a gym, and Johnny Washmiller, the Tarzan of the day, or they hung there, and they had bars and parties places when nobody else could. So really fun spirits hang out. Even at Forever Hollywood Cemetery, which has got regular people and stars. It had been in disarray for a long time, and some people who bought it, they fixed it up, and now they have like movie nights and they have concerts in the Masonic Lodge there. The ghosts are so happy. It's a party house.
So basically,
cemetery.
So basically, the Charlie Chaplin episode that you were on with them, that was your first episode.
That was my first one,
okay.
And I think I've done 10.
Yeah,
which is pretty good for a girl.
I was watching the ghost. What was it? The murder show, the Freak House or something like
Freak
that.
Show Murder House. That was
House.
hard. That was.
You really got affected in that one, and
Explain what happened. What happened in that episode that you got affected by?
Okay, so that was another one. I had literally just came. It's usually last minute. I had just literally done like tarot readings at a bridal shower or something, what we do in our, and then it was going out there, and Zach told me nothing. He said, show up, and then it was, Patty, go in and tell me what's happening. I go in and I'm walking through the house. It's a weird house. It's like got weird antiques and things, kind of like Zach's museum. But I got into the hall and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, and I got into the valley and I like literally fell down to the floor. I hadn't known it, but it had been a double murder where they actually had suffocated, put bags on their heads. That's why I couldn't breathe, and then shot them. Wow. A couple was shot, and it was one of their son's high school friends, I guess, that snuck in and did it. Wow. So yeah, that was thick. There was something dark there, other than ghosts, because there's that everything else category.
Right.
Now, what was it that was suffocating you? Did the entity itself that did the murders, or the feeling that people went through?
I think that was the feeling. That's where the empathic part of me is. I think I was kind of reliving, because I didn't, again, and I'm kind of in a trance, even though it doesn't look like it when I'm doing stuff. I guess we leave what even Aaron said. I was going up and down this hallway back and forth. I was probably mimicking, almost like I was becoming the residual, trying to get away, and they couldn't get away, and they collapsed where they died in the bathroom. So I was like channeling what happened to them.
I think something that tragic, it has to be, if there's any afterlife, that's got to be something that sticks around. I mean, to go out like certain ways and that's the scary part. I hate watching anything that has to do with somebody's life being taken, or the investigation channels and stuff like that. For me, purposely, I just can't watch that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel, especially being a father and 3 kids and seeing the stuff that happens. I know it's real life out there. I guess sometimes you can't look the other way, but it's something, there's real things in life, but that stuff, I'm so, turned off by that. And I think I'm afraid of it, I guess, in a way,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't, again, where you dwell is where you live. So yes. It's like if you probably watch those kind of shows every day, or those, especially those, at least these are ghosty shows. Those ghosties are already dead, though something already happened. Some of those really graphic, murdery ones, I can't even watch. Whether they're reenactments or just fiction, it's like, ugh.
Now, who are some of the people that you actually, famous people that you actually had contact with or spoke with? I know you mentioned Marilyn Monroe as a kid, Kennedy. Anybody recent, or maybe way back in time, or?
Interesting. I think of celebrities, ones, and this was for a TV show. This was pretty funny. A cooking TV show, Private Chefs of Beverly Hills, and so they brought me in, and I was doing a dinner, and the show is about the cooking part. So they wanted me to bring back Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra, Elvis, and Marlon Brando. So I had them, my herby, witchy thing. So you have to put dandelion root in this to bring back the spirit. You have to use whatever. So they made each of their favorite food. They had little caviar hot dogs for Marilyn, osso buco, I think, for Frank Sinatra, chow mein for Brando, deep fried peanut butter sandwiches for Elvis, in the midst of me doing a seance. But let's see. Marilyn came back, and she really did. I really talked to her. I've talked to her a couple times. She liked her life, but she was afraid a lot of the people we got. Elvis didn't show up at all. He didn't show up at all. Though I have seen him 2 other times. At that particular one, he didn't want this whole food show or the fried peanut butter sandwiches. Frank Sinatra, he was kind of a meanie, came for a second, and Marlon Brando was like, "What the hell you guys want?" He was horrible. I'm sorry, Mr. Brando. So he went, but as far as Elvis, I've worked with some people who are really knew him, family of him, friends of him. He's come several times. I mean, getting clear information that no one can know, and it was amazing. Michael Jackson once or twice, actually. He seems to be able to come back, but he's so nervous. He's so afraid of being misinterpreted. It's interesting.
Now, do they come to you? I mean, is this something where, that you just get that feeling that somebody's trying to contact you?
If depending on who I'm with, I will let them I will channel them. I will become them in a sense. Right. It's kind of like a puppet of them. And apparently my face changes somewhat and everything. It's like I'm not now Michael Jackson, but the whole facial shape and stuff.
I'd love to see you get up and start dancing like Michael Jackson. That'd be pretty cool. He was great.
He was
say what you want about the man. Well, when he was on the stage, you got your money's worth with Michael Jackson. That's for sure.
Yep.
So, I mean, like him or not. But going back, anybody in prehistoric, not prehistory time. I mean, when it could be Roman times or Egyptian times, or can you go back that far, or do they stick around for that long?
I don't think time and space exists on the other side. I think that's one of our man-made control things, time and space, because past and future and all that squishes together. I've had that a couple of times. Once at the Roosevelt with Montgomery Clift, once some more with the person that I was a reincarnation, Barbara Lamar. I think you can go back far. I never really have. I've never gone, let's go talk to Cleopatra or Mark Antony. I've gone back to olden times doing past life regressions with people. That's a trip. Because it's like we're watching TV at the same time. They're their eyes closed in a hypnotic state. I'm in a trance channel, and I'll see something shining on the left, and I'll say it's a teapot, but I won't say anything. I go, "What do you see shining on your left?" And they'll go, "It's a teapot." So that's like we're watching the same show without. And I say, "What do you smell? What do you see? What's on your feet? Are you wearing sandals or shoes or modern shoes?" And we kind of work and we create that reality. So I have gone back into olden times, but never brought like that seance experience in.
I know. Salem is something my mom was really interested in. She went to Salem a couple of times to visit Salem. I'm like, Mom, why are you going to see Salem? Do witches that time? Do you contacted by them at that time, being a witch yourself?
Yeah, I mean, and I do, again, I have a lot of friends in Salem. It's beautiful, and most witches are really good. Those that were in the Salem witch trials, most of them weren't even witches.
That's
if they
right.
were witches, they were, yeah. They helped birth babies. They were the person who helped giving medicine in the forest. They were shamans. They were, that was that was a whole other thing that wasn't about witches. And some of them were witches, but again, I don't think they were bad witches.
That's funny you said that. That's funny you said that. Because you look at it, and women got they got the bad hand on it. There's just a reason for them to, you're a witch. Well, Brian like this. I don't like Brian. He's a witch. And then they would
Yeah.
come and get. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. So Brian, finish up because we're coming about an hour. I usually don't like going more than an hour. But Brian, if you want to ask someone,
Yeah,
you have
I
rapid
was just
fire.
curious,
Brian usually has the rapid fire
I
questions.
usually have the 5 rapid fire questions, but
Okay.
I'm not starting that yet though. But I'm just curious. Like, is there a place that like Zach had Pavaglia Island that he wanted to go to? That was like his dream to get there. He had to be there. Is there something that you feel is like the ultimate place that you want to go to and investigate, or just like get a feeling or a vibe?
I really want to go more to Europe. I want to go to Gettysburg in the U.S. because that seems to be so active. There's a few really known haunted places throughout the country, but I really want to go. I've been to France twice, and I did a séance in a castle like from the year 1200, and it is so different. I got, of course, all the ghosts spoke French. I was like, I'm like, oh, they're translating it. And even with the Ouija board, if they don't speak English, that doesn't work. I now use a chalkboard with a planchette so they can draw or write in their language. But I want to go to all throughout Europe. I want to go to England and Ireland, and I've been to Greece once, but not to get to do a real metaphysical thing. So yeah, I want to go someplace old. America's too new.
Yeah, they say that like Ireland and England and stuff like that definitely have more of a haunted feel to them. I guess
Yeah,
they,
so
all the
that's, and I'm
castles
supposed
and
to
stuff.
go. I don't have the information yet, but I'm going to do a paranormal tour through Ireland next May. Hopefully, we all have quarantine by then. So I'm so excited.
Gotta go over there and kiss that Blarney Stone. Get up there and have somebody grab your ankles and kiss that Blarney Stone. That's an awesome trip. But I appreciate you spending the time with us tonight on this Thursday night already. The week is almost over. We were looking outside before, and it's not a full moon, is it? Or close to tonight?
Not quite. I think we're heading towards. Not quite. We're getting close. I'm a bad witch. I can't. I'd have to open my moon app.
No, well, we just looked up and it looked full.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's getting. I don't know. When is the full moon?
well, you're in.
Hey Google, when's the next full moon?
Not tonight, Patty.
July 5th.
Okay, so it's right around. Yeah, because
Right
we're in New York City and you can barely see the stars and stuff like that. You're in Los Angeles. I'm sure it's the same thing out there. Well, now a little better because less people are out. But the moon looks kind of full to me. But anyway, it's full enough.
It's almost full. It's waxing. It's getting bigger. It's time to add into your life.
And people want to check you out, your podcast, The Witching Hour, which is on Dash Radio, right? Every, Friday night, I believe?
Friday night at 10 o'clock, Saturday night at 9 o'clock, 3 times throughout the week, and then it moves over to Anchor, Spotify, and all the regular places. I'm exclusive to Dash for just 1 week, 5 things, and then you could go to Anchor.com, Spotify, Apple Music, The Witching Hour by Patti Negri. And my website is pattinegri.com. Then from there you can get everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, bathroom malls across America. pattinegri.com.
So from now on, I know next time we can have you back on, and I will do my research more than I did this time because I rushed through it. But
you did good.
I did good, except Summerland. I don't know why.
I don't know what Summerland is.
You know what it is? Because I by mistake, I started listening to an audiobook that was Wicca, beginnings to Wicca, and I could have swore that I thought Wicca was witches, and that was the thing. And they brought up Summerlands for some reason, being something I don't know, it has to do with nature or something. I don't know. So maybe I'll look it up and read it. Maybe it was.
Oh, maybe I'll look it up. Maybe you're teaching me something, Buck. I like
Can
that.
you imagine that? Me teaching you something. Thank you so much.
The more I learn, the more I know I don't know. And I am always.
I have a good question for you. Your first acting spot, was it Rocky 3? Is that accurate? So you were in Rocky 3.
Sylvester
That's
Stallone
awesome.
gave me my SAG card. I sang with his brother,
That's awesome.
Frank Stallone. I was hired, again, I was a baby. I was hired to be a Rocky girl, the little tiny shorts, the little shirt, like by the Ring Girls. And when he went crazy and he was the big place and the bands and everything, and I was a Rocky girl, and it was, I didn't know anything was going on. And Sylvester Stallone, who directed it, started it, he was great. He goes, and there was like 200 people there. He goes, I need somebody who could sing. Who could sing? And I really can't sing. I go, I can. And then he goes, back me up here, take it back, baby. It's that Take It Back from Rocky, take it back. And I go, and I was doing it because it was easy. And then every other hand in the place, all 200 hands, because he wanted a little backup girl, and his producers said, "Oh no, we should go somebody who's already in the union, the Screen Actors Guild, because that's the big deal getting in SAG." And Sylvester stood up for me. He goes, "No, she spoke up first. She's got it." So then we whisked away, and I sang with Frank Stallone all day, and we practiced. I think we're on the album. And then when it goes on, I'm hardly in the movie at all, but I get checks every week. I'm hardly in the movie at all.
good
So
for you.
constantly, it's
Good
But
for you.
they're little checks. But they
That's
literally
alright.
they played "Eye of the Tiger" over it instead of the song we're doing. They turned it into this montage scene. If you watch it, it's a great movie. It's a great scene. So there are 10 seconds of me doing the wrong song.
Oh, but that's cool.
Wow.
I mean, you think about movies
Classic.
going through. Yeah, it is classic. Yeah,
Classic.
But they play that movie more than anything.
Yeah, it's
Because
always
you get different rates. The Screen Actors get for free TV, you make more money than pay TV, which is different for pay-per-view TV. So I get this like all the time with all the places, and they play that movie every minute of the
Yeah,
day.
it's crazy.
And it's funny because usually with the you get different movies like Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3. They were all pretty good. They were good movies
Yeah,
through it all. Usually the first one you watch, you're like, oh, it's a great movie. Second one, you're like, sequel stinks. I can't watch this. But Rocky, Sylvester Stallone. I mean, it's Sylvester Stallone for a reason, I guess, right?
Exactly.
He's the man.
Well, I appreciate it, and then we'll definitely 100% have you back on because I really had a great time tonight. I definitely appreciate it, and I subscribed already for you on
My
Google
newsletter.
Podcast. The newsletter, I can do that too. I don't think I did.
Okay. I don't. Then you'll get my little. I say every month, but it's like every 3 months. I just send a little newsletter, a little bit of magic, a little bit of thought process.
So
I don't sell anything.
How would I get that? How would I get that? Go by going to your website?
Go to PattiNegri.com and then subscribe.
I will do
You
that.
could also do it from my Facebook, not my Patti Negri Facebook, my Patti Negri Psychic Medium. I think you can subscribe, but it's pretty
You
easy.
are all over the place. You're the easiest person to find on any social media. I haven't done Instagram. I went on Instagram and I'm like, oh, look at this. She's all over the place. So you helped me out. People following the show and they don't even know who I am because you're coming on. But I appreciate it so much. And have a beautiful night. I appreciate everybody on Facebook for tuning in. Brian for hosting me at Brian's house. We're actually, when you rewatch it, we're sitting in a castle.
I
So
can't
you
wait.
can see a little castle behind us. It'll be spooky. I think I saw something walk by. I don't know if I did or not. But
Yeah, maybe.
thank you all for
Ghosts
tuning
over
in.
there.
And Wicked Pissa is going to win season 10. That's what Patty said. So
That's right.
I hopefully they do. But thank you so much, everybody out there, for tuning in. We'll be back next Tuesday and Thursday with Buck the System podcast, live stream, everything else. Thank you so much, Patty. I
Thank you, Patty.
appreciate it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right, Patty. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. That was great.
Thanks for listening to Buck the System. Next time, Buck Gritano will do it all again, and we hope you'll join us for the ride. In the meantime, you can reach out to us at buckthesystempodcast@gmail.com with questions, comments, suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address again is buckthesystempodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time on Buck the System.